Hello, one and all. I am here with another update for you, and just behind me is in the process of being repaired ceiling now, as it was going on. You might have remembered before it was all like hanging down and open, and it's in the process. Stabilized. Right, anyway. Dragon Age Aftermath session. That's just happened, so we've got the big news in now from the interrogation of the group there in Val Royeaux's dungeons. The Chantry have them, the City Guard have them. Oh my god, what's going to happen? Well, let's get on with this, okay? Right. We'll do this person by person, basically what kind of testimony they gave, and we'll work it that way. Right. First up, we have Kufia. Joel's guy, the investigator, the weird guy, the Kunari. Now, he was initially very quiet for a while, and that kind of bothered everyone, questioning him. And then he finally did start speaking, but he was being very weird as well. And he's speaking in a very clever, almost like manipulative way so that he can steer things the way he wants them to be steered. So he's basically hammering at Lady Sinova's reputation a bit and really implicating her as being part of this, making sure that's got across. And, the fact that he's, investigating in this sort of thing. Of course, her reputation is already ruined. I mean, this whole thing has just come off at her party after all. And now, he's adding to this. So, yeah, I guess, he doesn't need to actually tell everything because all the other people in the group, there's enough of them giving accounts of what happened, as you'll see. We move on to then Eric, who is Pete's new guy, the Dalish keeper mage. He decided to tell the whole truth completely. So, he's given the entire account of what has happened. When he's questioned, why are you there, sort of thing, he said, well, I've only just met them, to be honest, but, I was told to go up the road and meet them by one of our wise people in our Dalish tradition. He met me on the road and told me that's where my future lay. And I didn't really want any part of it. And they said, well, that's not acceptable. You were present, which actually makes you an accessory to it. And, he doesn't want any part of that. He's like, look, I'm actually nothing to do with it. But, he's given the full account of it. And, he was just there to sort of, let them get on with it. But I've just been told that my future lies here, so I'll follow them and see what happens. Kind of that stance. And they managed to let him get off because he's only just met them. And so that does actually go in his favour for that. As for Kufia, they're keeping him in for questioning. He's providing information for them. So the only one that does leave, Kufia's staying behind in Val Royeaux at this current point. So Eric's going to be allowed out. Okay, on to Leon, who's the Knight Enchanter, played by Laurie. Okay, spirit magey, mostly based with some creation kind of school stuff. Right. So Knight Enchanter Leon. He's Orlesian. His account can be, accepted for what it is by the Chantry officials that are present. They're there and they're going to take his word more seriously than they might some of the other people. So there's that. Leon has told the whole truth. Now, they can disseminate that by doing all the usual practices they do when, interrogating someone, getting you to tell the story, starting from the middle, being able to then tell it backwards, piece by piece, without mixing up the order, because, it was real, you're able to do it if it's real, and that kind of thing. They've determined that they are indeed telling the truth, and the fact that there's these two testimonies and Kufia's that kind of relates bits of it, so it works out as the truth. They're getting a good idea of what happened down there. So yeah, Leon's been very upfront about it. They will be letting him off. However, they did, give him a stern talking to and saying, how come you didn't come to us when you learnt this was going to happen? Okay, you say you wanted to bring them down and stop this deal from happening. Fine, all right. Why didn't you come to us? And they said, well, because we were being spied on. We were being watched at all points, and it would have given the game away. So I had to let things proceed, and then step on them once they came to fruition. Well, they kind of bought that. The fact that he is a knight enchanter helps with that, of course. They bought that, and the fact that his story coincides with others. So Leon's being let free. Now, also, those two have arrived. We've got a lot of people have arrived there. We've got Amelia on site. She's been able to testify for a lot of the party members. She knows Tanador very, very well. So when it comes to the Tanador part, she spoke up for him and said, well, look, as far as I know, in all of my travels with him, he's always pretty much done the right thing, and he wouldn't try to get involved in the unscrupulous elements of dealing lyrium and that. He's more of a just drink and just get on with it and kill people. He's way too straightforward. I mean, he's by no means a good guy, but he wouldn't get mixed up in that. That's not his bag. Women and wine, that's more his bag. So Amelia gave that account, even though she hasn't really got that much of a high rank now. And why doesn't she have that much of a high rank now? Well, someone has been politically assassinating her position within the Templars. And who might that be? Well, you remember back to the free module, the 8 scenario one that the group first met and first did right as their very first session. Do you remember that, everybody? Do you remember the R lesser that Amelia pissed off? Do you remember that? She has struck at last. This is This is session 86, right? And that all happened right at the beginning. And she's finally taking her revenge on Amelia and destroying her position within the Chantry. Her position that, I might add, Lady Moranti has helped create. So, the fact that someone that's actually even a higher rank is able to destabilise, maybe has favours with someone, it's not good for Amelia. But, they believe her testimony because they do know she did travel with Tanador. That is concurrent with their intelligence on the matter. Also present, we have Knight Captain Rika, who met the group outside the monastery. Remember that? When the Leon-Amelia swap over was made? And Tanador and Rika had that bit of exchange. And so, Rika didn't have very nice things to say about Tanador. And it's like, he's a troublemaker. As for whether he did this and could have been killing people, that's highly possible. He's a ruffian and that kind of thing. So there was some suspicion cast over Tanador, absolutely over Tanador. Remember, Yellow Eye and Aldrich are waiting back at the monastery. They're keeping watch, so they aren't even present when all this is happening. And Tim Bob George, where the hell he is, he's off doing something else, I guess. He's, doing a lawn mowing service or something to get a bit of money up or whatever. I'm just going to picture him now looking like the kid from Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something. That's okay. So Greg, right. So all right, Tanador. So at this point, everyone's being let go. except Kufia, who's being kept in for questioning. But they aren't going to push charges, but they do want to ask him more questions. Fair enough, that's fine, you know. They know that he's a good source of information for them, so, you know, why not ask him questions? Alright, so, Tanadal. So he said, look, I didn't mean to kill Blaine, alright? I didn't mean to do it. I was swinging at a different person, and Blaine got in the way. And they're like, okay, well, who were you swinging for? Well, I was swinging for Sigurd. Ah, okay. So you know Sigurd then. So yeah, we're now enemies. We're, you know, me and his father have our own problems, his stepfather, and now we have problems as well. So this has really come down, and you remember like all the sleep stuff before, and was going to cut his face and scar him and muck him up, and Sigurd really, you know, proved himself to be a psychopath. Now, Tanador has spelt the story out fairly truthfully, with a little bit of spin in his favour, but mostly truthfully, so that helps somewhat. However, he has stated, oh well, you know, Sigurd is he was there trying to make the deal with Blaine, and Sigurd killed Ardal, which he did, of course, to try to take over the operation there from Val Royeaux, and he ended up striking Blaine down, trying to get at him. Well, that's a lie, because he struck Blaine on purpose. He knew he was going after Blaine, and they caught him in that lie, because the other testimonies also, you know, they'd questioned them specifically on that, and said, you know, do you think he was actually aiming for Blaine, or aiming, who was he aiming for? Because he cut Blaine, they all reckon that he was aiming, Tanador was aiming for Blaine, so he's kind of been caught out in that lie there. So it's made some suspicion. They're keeping him on record. However, they set bail at 5 gold for Tanador and tell him he can't come back to Val Royeaux anymore. And, of course, his big cat has been seized, but he's going to be able to get that back, you know, as he leaves the city. 5 gold bail, and he states all this sort of thing. And it may come to an upcoming, you know, trial. But here's the thing. Sigurd, they feel very worried about. With good reason, of course. He's a psychopath. And all of the testimony goes against him. Everybody's testimony, whether they realised it or not, was landing him deeper in it. Now, the thing was that Sigurd's testimony was a complete lies. He said, I came there through another noble, named the noble. When questioning that noble, the noble obviously denied having anything to do with him. But then the noble would do that, so then he's brought into the questioning, and then he's interrogated on the issue so that they can really satisfy themselves as to whether the noble is lying to them or not. Oh, man. And Sigurd said, oh, yeah, I wanted to go down into the wine cellars to sample some of Lady Sinova's wine. You know, that's... and then all this fighting suddenly broke out, and I hid behind a barrel to keep out of it. And apparently the actual fighting happened, as Tanador said, to defend himself when the elevated brotherhood ran in and it all started kicking off. That's when swords started swinging. The first time. Well, they don't like Sigurd's lies, and they're not buying it for a minute. They are saying, look, you tried taking over the operation, you're trying to push the lyrium, you're a bad guy, that's what you're doing, and you're a mage on top of that. Now, Sigurd is wearing special anti-magic cuffs. He can't move his hands, so he can't cast spells either. Magic nullifying fields, niceness, enchantment. Which Rika has given the okay on to break out and use in this case. And of course they're in Val Royeaux, so this is where the stockpile of that kind of equipment would be, you know. It's the Chantry base, for Christ's sake. Right, anyway. They're deciding they're going to keep him. They're charging him with multiple charges. He can't go. And a seeker has been called. Oh God, a seeker. So, when they're in the process of checking Tanador out of the building, suddenly there's an emergency lockdown. Something happens, and there's a side room where an emergency lever blocks off another section where the prisoners are, compared to the interrogation block, and that got set off, and it basically, this portcullis slammed straight down and blocked off Tanador and the guards with Tanador that were escorting him out of the building to, you know, get him out of there, and, you know, organising his bail payment and that sort of thing. And what does he see coming down the passage? You know, he hears all this ruckus and commotion and fighting and stuff, and he sees Sigurd walk out or around behind the corner, still with his cuffs on, covered in blood, in true Dragon Age style. And he sees him and he's like, what the heck? You know, just to observe the shock on even Jez's face as I'm explaining this to him, that Sigurd is somehow free and he's about to walk out. And then Sigurd is joined by someone else. Shall I tell you who that someone else is? Figure, all dressed in black. All hidden in nice robes, things, and yes, covered in blood also. Yeah. Squire. So effectively what has happened here is Squire has broke Sigurd out. How about that? Right? Now, here's the thing, okay? Squire has broke Sigurd out. Now, Sigurd's just laughing at Tanador. He finds this hilarious. It's like, you know, we'll have our time. We'll sort this out. You didn't know all along. Ha 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 ha. And so, yeah, Sigurd gets him out. Now, Sigurd breaks him out, and that, you know, Tanador's stuck on the other side of this portcullis, just having to watch, and he's completely powerless to this. But he has to try and put 5 and 5 together to make 10. He's got to work all of this out, and it's kind of complicated. But this moment of realization when it all starts to be able to set in, like, okay, so who's actually controlling Squire then? We went to kill Zorton Throg, who had the contract of control over Squire, and it went missing, and we never actually did find it. But Karak was there, and so Karak swiped it. That's what happened. Karak swiped the contract, and Karak has been controlling Squire ever since Zorton Throg was killed. Let me just put that out there. Okay? That we now know. So every order, when Squire's been turning up, it's been to troll Tanador or some variety of that. Remember when we were back, I think it was in Black Sand, was it? Where Tanador didn't get on with the guards at the gate, and he wanted to go visit upon them and bring his vengeance upon them. Squire got there first and killed them. Do you remember that? Trolling. Karak trolling. Do you remember when Tanador's tiger, Red Lion? Is it the Red Lion? I think it was a Red Lion. Got killed in the harsh winter some sessions ago, before he got the Great Lion. Well, how about that, right? Squire did it. And why did Squire do it? Well, on Karak's order, because Karak controls him. So you can see that Karak would have told, basically, Squire ordered him get Sigurd out. We know how bad this is. We know that Sigurd's going to be sent down if we don't like show our hand right now. We've got to do something about it.
Cook?
Yeah.
And
I probably can.
with that in mind, Tanador has to decide all of these things. So,
There you go.
what's he
I'll pop over later, yeah?
going to do next?
I see the garden. You want me to do the
So-
garden as well, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he's actually doing
Yeah, that.
Pop a good sort out.
is
Alright, and
You're right.
we'll be over later then, yeah?
leaving
Alright, see you later.
leaving the group,
Alright, lovey.
and
Bye bye.
Jez is going to play Yellow Eye. Tanador's leaving. And Tanador is going to form an army as he was asked by the southern states. They asked him before, and he told them at the time when they asked him, try and hold on, try and stay strong, I will return to you. But that wait, that delay, has cost the Southern Coalition. It's just longer, more time, basically oppressed by Redhold and the consortium of others that have joined them. And though Karak tries to control with manipulation, basically, of the other states, that works fairly well as far as, the state leaders are concerned, but not so much so when it comes to the people. See, the people are still scared, especially all of the southern states downwards, because they've seen all of their holds, destroyed or harmed in some way. They've seen these huge taxation controls come on them. They're not buying it for 1 minute that it's for their own good. You see, you can't convince the people. And that's the thing, the people are scared. They know deep down that this is wrong. This isn't natural. This isn't how this is not the Avar way, basically. And, also the way that Redhold used the Chasind against the South and basically ended the War of the Axes there and then, and made it so that the Chasind won the War of the Axes. I mean, they find that pretty despicable that he did anything for power in this case. And Tanador has left it too long, really. So that means his starting stats for his organisation, yes, that's right, organisation, the organisation mechanics, his starting stats are going to be lower than that of the Redhold Consortium. But doesn't mean that he can't catch up. He has to choose a few areas where he wants to focus his training. He's going to try and pull together whatever Southern Coalition forces he can muster and build an army, he says, like no other that has ever been before. And, impassioned dramatic speech here, sort of thing. We are going to make the mountains quake. An army like the like of which has never been seen. And of course, what else is he doing? Well, he's talking to Amelia and saying to Amelia, look, can you put me in touch with someone within the Chantry, because I want to talk to them basically about what Redhold is doing magically. He's basically trying to bring the Chantry on board to get Templar aid against the mages of Redhold. Trying to bring it in as a Chantry issue. Will that succeed? I don't know. But Tanador's grasping for it. What else is Tanador doing? Well, Amelia is about to be heading off with Duncan and Alistair to take the joining, to become wardens. And Tanador is speaking to Duncan and saying, look, I know that he's in the Grey Wardens and he hasn't been answering summons. Karak hasn't. So the problem for you guys is, you've got a rogue warden there, and the problem for me is I need to take him down anyway. How about we coordinate our efforts too? You know why he isn't answering it, because, he's ruling state now like this, as a dictator. And, so yeah, he's trying to get warden help and chantry help. Well, we'll see how that goes, but the problem with the wardens usually is that they stay impartial. But there is the factor that this is one of their own that they need to police. Would the wardens get involved in like outright battlefield situations and be a staunch part of Tanador's army? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But would they get involved perhaps on some coordinated mission to actually go after Karak to question him? That's got more potential. So I don't think he's going to quite get the support from the wardens that he would like. And the Chantry are going to be a difficult sell, it being a external territory that's kind of not within their jurisdiction, and it would be a hard sell, really, politically, for the Divine to take a move against the mountains based on this. However, with the Lyrium moving through and it affecting the Templars as it is, it might begin to at least put some notches there. Tanador's really got to try and push with the diplomacy to try and get this moving. So, that's the position at the moment. That's where it's all at. And those that are left are going to travel together to back to the monastery, and they're going to head in to the cathedral and try and take down the final bosses there and bring that low. And then hopefully move on to something else that I've got set out for them, which would be a completely homemade dungeon. But more on that when we come to it. I've kind of got the feeling next session's going to be a biggie if we get enough time to actually play. There's an awful lot we can do in it. But until next time, I'll see you at the table, where even more surprises and circles within circles lay yet to be discovered.